We got our last presenter of the day. Now, last but certainly not least, TruVibe Organics, Jason Dekker. He's right here. Give him a round of applause. Either one, and you got your timer over there.
Hi, I'm Jason Dekker, and I'm the co-founder of TruVibe Organics. And we just launched Eat Clean, a vegan organic meal replacement drink line, into Sprouts in September. And we're going into Whole Foods in Texas and H-E-B in Texas coming in February. The problem that we were trying to solve, or the gap that we saw in the marketplace, was trying to figure out how to create a satiating, clean, healthy meal in a bottle. So our solution is a scientifically formulated complete meal where 40% of the calories are coming from healthy fats, 40% from carbs, and 20% from plant protein, pea, rice, and hemp protein. Each bottle contains approximately 300 calories. We've got 4 SKUs, which we think cover the bases. We've got our greens, which is basically our veggie-based, or what we're calling our salad in a bottle. We've got our almond milk-based almond, cacao, and coconut, which has got the full almond in it, ground up, so it's a little heartier, a little thicker. It's got 19 grams of protein. Men really tend to like that. It's a little heavier. We've got our fruit and veggie crossover, our beets, carrots, and matcha. And then we've got our fruit-based, our berries, maca, and chia. We think the big differentiating factor that we offer is that we're the equivalent of a cold-pressed juice, where you get your vitamins and minerals, a smoothie where you get your whole foods and fiber, a kombucha where you get your probiotics and medicinal mushrooms, and a protein shake where you get your 15 and 19 grams all in one bottle. It's HPP processed, and it's line priced at an aggressive price of $5.99. And our target market is health-conscious millennials and Gen Xers. And while we're not trying to be all things to all people, we think that there's a huge addressable market, whether it's the vegan market, the soccer mom, the busy executive on the go, at the airport, breakfast, and the elderly market, which we think is an extremely long tail for us. Thank you.
Great stuff. Clean meals for the soul. Rachel, I got to ask you about that. What do you think of the tagline?
I think it's a little much. I think that you might want to keep the soul out of it. It's just food. But I do think that the concept, I think the concept is really, really solid. I know it's something I personally thought, I would buy this. Like, I would use this, as a vegan, low sugar, organic, conscious consumer. I think this is, there really is a space for this product. And I did think that the packaging really communicated that value. I do think you want to make sure that you're making yourself available to people who may not care about their souls.
A lot of things.
As much as their day-to-day.
Okay, moving right along. Thing. Richard, a lot of on-trend ingredients in this. Do you think this is going to resonate with customers, including the ones that you represent?
I think so. I like the contents in the bottle. I would clean up the packaging a little bit. The one thing to be wary of is that in Los Angeles, there are a lot of local cold-pressed juice companies with existing distribution that can come out with this in a matter of weeks. So that's something to be mindful of.
Cool. Jeremy, what do you think of the formulation and the sort of taste of TruVibe?
The taste was acceptable for me. It wasn't like I wouldn't want to be eating or drinking one of these, every day. But I think for people who are very focused on that, and that's what they're looking for, it delivers. I wonder a bit where it's going to be merchandised in store. It does look a bit like a Naked bottle, a Nadwala bottle, etc. And the question if you want to differentiate a bit more there and where you want to be merchandised in store.
Yeah, John, you get the last word.
Yeah, I think kind of what was just said. I feel like the flavor of the product was fine, but it felt like kind of a compromise almost a little bit. I also don't know how I feel about the word "eat" on a drink like this. I think that's something that they'll have to figure out. But look, again, I think kind of like I said before, I think consumers don't really want to compromise like flavor to get something like, eating clean. I mean, there's plenty of ways to eat clean, right? I think it just seems like it needs a little something more in some of the flavors. So,
okay. Before we get any further, I just kind of want to do a quick overview of the 15 brands that we saw and get your thoughts on them. I mean, we saw teas, we saw coffees, we saw smoothies, we saw functional beverages, energy beverages. Overall, do you think these brands did a good job of sort of differentiating themselves from what's already currently available on the market, Richard?
I think they did. I think a lot of them have differentiators within the packaging. Some of them just need to focus on that and make it well known to the consumer. But yeah, just those attributes that can make you stand out from the rest are going to be key.
Okay. Jeremy, your thoughts on the 15 semifinalists?
It's an extremely competitive space, and there's so much innovation going on. I think people know it all the time. Taste really matters, and not wanting to compromise that, and particularly when you're counting calories, you really want to make sure that you spend them wisely. Second is, I think packaging can really help you stand out on the shelf and get trial, and it's really worth investing in that.
Yeah. Rachel, how much potential do you see in this group of beverage brands?
Huge. I really, I'm looking at my notes here, and there are just so many high ratings and high numbers. So I really think everyone, who's involved should really be proud and, feeling good about where they've gotten so far.
Yeah. John, you've done this many times. This is the 12th iteration. What do you think of this group?
Well, I think, look, there's always, lots of potential with these groups of products. I think, these are all startup brands, so I'm sure many of them will, if we look a few years down the road at the ones that are, still at it, there will be quite a, an evolution for all of them. So I think all of the stuff that we're saying here is just, it's pretty typical for, new companies and new products. I think it's, for me, the one thing that just stuck out is that almost all of the brands were speaking, directly to sugar, which isn't something new, but I think it's interesting that, as we've done these showdowns, like I don't know, however many years ago we started them, there were a few brands that were saying, they were going lower sugar, and now it's like everyone. So, I mean, I think it's interesting that that's something that seems like almost a part of every startup at this point, and it probably should be. So, but, great job by all the entrepreneurs. So.
Yeah, indeed. Getting up here and bearing your soul for 2 minutes, high pressure situation is very, very difficult. And I think we had some outstanding presentations today, and it's really difficult to get up here and do what they did. And I think they deserve a very loud round of applause. So 15 so much.